Well, good morning again, everyone. Thank you so much. And welcome to our celebration of our school's patron and the commemoration of the religious community that founded it. You know that fish do not think about the water in which they swim, and birds do not consider the air in which they fly. And so too with us. There are times when we can take for granted our environment. Perhaps we need a little reminder to observe closely the way our lives are furnished. Let's consider the stag, James, and the red and blue cross. The iconography, or symbols, of the Trinitarian order and of DeMatha help unite us, and they give us a common visual language that helps bring us into existence. And they are all around us, silent witnesses and inspirations for us, asking to be seen and noticed and read. These symbols function as a shorthand to the Trinitarian charism that is their gift to the church, and therefore our gift to the church and our gift to each other. On December the 17th, 1198, Pope Innocent III officially recognized the Order of the Most Holy Trinity and of the Catholics, and so their great work of freedom and redemption was begun. What do our icons tell us about ourselves? Many schools choose a mascot or a totem for alliterative reasons. Think of the Towson Tigers, Butler Bulldogs, or you can choose for humorous reasons. The University of Santa Clara Banana Slugs, or the Cal Irvine Anteaters, or you can think for clever wordplay, the sibilants of the Chaminade Silver Swords, or the Yukon Huskies with its sound-alike word, Y-U-K-O-N, the region of Canada known for its sled dogs. Schools want to adopt the characteristics of their totem, ferocity, resilience, something like that. But we didn't choose our mascot, the stag chose us. Felix de Valois, co-founder of the Trinitarians of St. John DeMatha, is most often presented with a white stag with red and blue cross between its antlers. The stag appears in popular culture in numerous places, from lawn equipment to malt beverages to popular games. The stag is chosen because it represents power, nobility, speed, strength, and we are happy to claim those associations for ourselves. A memorable stag in children's literature occurs in Bambi, where the father of the eponymous hero is known only as Great Prince of the Forest. He protects and takes care of Bambi until Bambi comes of age himself as a great prince, the stag representing royalty. For Harry Potter, his Patronus, notice how close that is to the patron, is the stag. The Patronus for anyone in the Harry Potter series is the visible sign of their most positive feelings, such as joy or hope. It is a protector, not a predator. Think of it as one's avatar. Harry's Patronus, the stag, is associated with all the qualities mentioned before: nobility, protection, strength, speed. In the Bible, the stag is first referred to in the book of Psalms, where it typifies piety, a desire to be with God. Psalm 42 opens, "As a stag longs for flowing streams, so longs my soul for thee, O God." And the critic George Ferguson observed in Signs and Symbols in Christian Art that because the stag seeks freedom and refuge, it has been used to symbolize solitude and purity of life. Now, books containing pictures and moral stories about real and imaginary animals have a name. They're known as bestiaries. They were first popular in medieval times, and of course they still exist in various forms in children's books today. Think of how many children's stories, whether printed text or cartoon or movie, involve anthropomorphized animals. Almost everyone here has read Animal Farm. Now, according to bestiaries, deer could find and kill snakes, and therefore they stood for Christ, who kills the serpent. So with the hermit Felix de Valois, who's depicted with a white stag, with the red and blue cross between its antlers, we now know there is more going on than a pretty picture. We are expected to understand the stag represents Christ, the solitude of the person on retreat, the purity of purpose, as well as those qualities of strength, nobility, speed, and power that we claim, in which we are fortunate. All of these will come to claim us. Chains, or broken chains, sometimes called fetters, appear in the artwork around St. John DeMatha from the beginning of his ministry in 1193, and would seem to have a simple and easy interpretation. They represent the liberation of the slave, the prisoner, the captive. While chains can be signs of imprisonment, they can have other meanings. Think of the chain linking of arms when a team gathers. I want you to notice in the seal of the order that while the chains are broken, Jesus is now the link between the two slaves or prisoners. Their fundamental humanity acknowledged in his touch, his connection, his refusal to let go of them. He does not just stand between them, they touch each other through him. Jesus is the link between the human and the divine, and the Trinitarians recognize that it is through him we are linked together. We can think, too, of the symbolic chains that bind us, or have been used to bind us or others. Ignorance, relativism, poverty, race, religion, gender, and class, our own limitations, or our own perspectives. But it is possible to think of the chains that keep us grounded, linked to our families, our friends, our school, the mission. They are like the tent stakes that prevent us from being buffeted about by every gust of wind or every new fad or opinion. What of the ties of friendship, family, community, and love? These chains bind us to each other. This relationship, this nexus between bonded together and bondage, between chain linked and chain, between tied to and tied up, is at the heart of the Trinitarian mission. What the Trinitarians recognize and are committed to, and this is the idea that we freely accept by becoming members of the DeMatha community, is the extraordinary and paradoxical idea that until we are committed to others, we are not free. Until we serve others, we cannot lead. Until we take care of others, we are not taking care of our true selves, of our souls. But a potent, remarkable symbol, the broken chains, and the Jesus who links us, God to human, mortal to divine, that go between who knows and saves us. Now the cross is an ancient symbol. It predates Christianity. But Christianity has adopted it and has numerous forms of the cross, such as the Celtic cross, the Jerusalem cross, the Tau cross, the cross of Lorraine, and countless others. The Trinitarian cross, which is not a crucifix, the crucifix displays the body of Jesus, is usually depicted as a Greek cross, such as we see all around us with a red vertical and blue horizontal axis. And on occasion, you'll see a Trinitarian Maltese cross. And for some publications and print, we use cross format. Common to all of these crosses is that the X and Y axis are the same length. The Greek cross and all other crosses with equal axis represent a spatial orientation. That is a way of thinking about space. They use separation through a pointed intersection, above and below, left and right, and multiple dualities. They suggest the 4 points of the compass and the traveler at the center. Cities are traditionally laid out in quarters, such as Washington, D.C., New Orleans, Paris. The Maltese cross is thought to represent the tips of 4 arrowheads, which meet in the center. Curvature of the Maltese cross across format act as an embrace of anything that comes within their compass. Trinitarians, firmly grounded in the here and now, and yet preparing for the next world, are appropriately represented by all of these crosses with the equal X and Y axis. For wherever there is an intersection, there are the Trinitarians. The Trinitarian cross is even more distinct, as the red crosses over the blue on the white field. And these colors have their own significance, both symbolic and practical. During the Crusades, knights wore red crosses upon their shields. The Trinitarian blue allowed them to be seen as friars, not crusaders or combatants. And this helped them gain access to slave markets in Muslim-controlled territory so they could carry out their work of redemption. Texts of heraldry from the Middle Ages contain elaborate interpretations of colors. And down to today, even contemporary psychologists still study the effect that color has on us. A standard book on heraldry tells us that red on a shield means, quote, a burning desire for virtue, devout color, ready to shed blood for the word of God. Blue means constancy, loyalty, learning, and a sincere devotion to God. These are certainly qualities we see in the Trinitarians, and in training and work, we can see these qualities in ourselves as the inheritors of the tradition. The Trinitarians are always standing at the important intersections in our lives, asking us the clarifying questions and helping us see the answers. They stand between the human and the divine, and they help us, as their gospel says, to see Jesus in the least of our brothers. They stand between the contemplative and the active, reminding us to think and to reflect, but also to act and be present to each other, because thought without action is useless, and action without thought is fanaticism. They stand between immediate time, DeMatha today, and eternity, DeMatha forever. So here we always are, the Trinitarians are telling us, standing at the intersection of the cross. All of life is a series of intersections of the past and the future, and all of our choices, which we make with free will, and which then bind us to each other with hope and trust. It is these that create the future. Humans make promises, something no other animal does. A promise is a message to the future from the present. It links or binds or ties the two together. By the stag, by the chains, and by the red and blue cross you shall know the Trinitarians. And by those same symbols we shall know ourselves. Please rise now and join me in thanking the Trinitarians for uniting us in this intersection and uniting us together with them in their mission. Thank you.